Good morning, 7th grade. Welcome to day 2 of week 6. Today is April 28th. So I just wanted to explain what we have planned for you today. So I'm going to click on your classwork tab. If you checked out the agenda already, you would see that today we have scheduled an activity day. So here you'll see there's a material. It's just giving you directions what you have to do today. You're going to pick and complete 2 out of the 3 Google Forms that I post below. You will be excused from the form that you do not choose to complete. So you're completing 2 out of the 3, and you'll be excused from the 3rd assignment that you choose not to complete. The assignments will be posted at 8 a.m. for you to choose from. Okay? So now I click on the activity day assignment. Same directions as before, reminding you to complete and remember to click submit. And then you have your 3 options, okay? So option 1 is just solving proportions practice. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. It is another Mad Lib, so we did one of these before. You're going to practice solving proportions. So I'm going to do this one for you just as a reminder. If we were solving the proportion 7 over 3 equals x over 27, what you do is you cross multiply. So we do 7 times 27 is going to give us 189. And then we do 3 times x gives us 3x. And then the last thing you do is you divide by whatever number is next to the x, because right now it's multiplication, so we do the inverse and divide. These 3's will cancel because anything divided by itself is 1, and we know we can write x without that 1 in front of it. And then 189 divided by 3 will give us 63 as our answer. Okay, so for number 1, if you look at the options, E has x equal to 63, so you would select E on the form for number 1. Then after you complete, I believe there are 10, you're going to fill in the math lib. So for example, see it says 1 here and there's a blank. If we go back to number 1, since we found that it was E, we're going to fill in the blank with Mrs. Crane. And then you do that for all of the answers that follow. Okay, so you go to the Mad Lib. Here would be your answer for number 2, 3, and so on. I know a few of you were asking me about that the last time we did a Mad Lib, so I just wanted to explain that to you as well. Some of them are word problems. Remember, just to keep the same ratios together, I will model this one for you. This is number 10. I'll set it up for you at least so that you know the correct setup. So it says Mark's car gets 32 miles per gallon. He's planning a road trip from Miami to Atlanta. He plans to drive 200 miles the first day and 480 the next day. How many more gallons will he use the second day compared to the first day? All right, so let's see. He gets 32 per gallon. I'm just trying to find the important information. 32 miles per gallon. Plans to drive 200 the first day, 400. How many more gallons will he? Okay, so let's see. So the first thing I would do is 32 miles per gallon. That sounds like a unit rate to me. So we have 32 miles for every 1 gallon. So I'm setting up my first ratio like that, miles over gallons. And then I'm going to look at the first one that they tell us. He plans to travel 200 miles on day 1. My miles are my numerator. My gallons are my denominator. So again, here's our proportion. We would cross multiply and we would solve for x. This is for day 1. Then they mentioned day 2. So we're going to do the same thing. 32. So it would be 32 over 1. That's our unit rate. And on day 2, he's planning to travel 480 miles, but we don't know how many gallons. So you would cross multiply here as well and solve for x. And then the last thing you would do for number 10, since it says how many more gallons will he use on the second day compared to the first, whatever you get from day 2, your answer from day 2, you would take that and minus it from the answer for day 1. Okay, so I'm kind of happy I actually walked you through that one because this one seems a little complex. All right, so that's option 1. Option 2 is a solve problem using proportional relationships in the example. So the example is provided here. I noticed when I looked at it myself that it seemed a little small. So just so you know, if you're on a laptop, you can always stretch your page by like sliding your 2 fingers, and then it winds up increasing the size of the page, okay? So the problem's going to be up here, and then you're going to answer the solve strategy that we worked on in class based on the problem above. So for the first one, it's the S. You are writing, this problem is asking me to find, and then whatever the question is asking you to find. Remember, usually that is the final question to the problem provided. Okay. O, you organize your facts. This is usually just a bulleted list of the important things that you should know from the problem. L is lining up your plan, explaining what you're going to do to solve the problem. Okay, remember we don't usually use numbers in this example. We just use our words. We especially mention the operations involved. V would be where you verify your answer. So I know on the computer it's a little difficult to show your work. So just do the best you can in this short response area. Like I said, I'm going to be lenient with that because I know that it is difficult to model something that looks like this on a Google form, but just do the best you can so that I can understand where your thinking was at and what your calculations were to get to that final answer if this is the option that you choose. And then E is just explaining if your answer is reasonable and writing your final answer as a sentence. Okay, so this is option 2. And then option 3 is a riddle where you are writing the equations in the form y equals kx from a graph. So here's our form. They give you the riddle at the top. So they say, what do you call a shoe made out of a banana? So you are looking to answer this question at the end of this activity by relating it back to the answers that you get for each of the graphs here. So these graphs are provided at the top, but then if you scroll down, you'll see that every question has each individual graph on its own, right? So for example, the first one is the letter R. So you're going to look at this graph and come up with what the equation is. To find the equation, you are looking for the constant in the graph. The way we find the constant is by looking for those 2 nice points and figuring out, okay, what is the rise? What is the run? So if I'm looking at this graph, the 2 nice points I see would definitely be 0, 0. And then the other point I see is right here. And this point is 1, 4. Now 1, 4 is not my constant. My constant is going to be how many did I go up, which was 4, and how many did I go over, which is 1. So for number 1, our constant is 4 over 1 or just 4. So our constant for number 1, which is k, is 4 over 1 or 4. And then to write it as an equation, it would be y equals 4x because we always replace k with the constant that we came up with. So this is the answer to number 1 in the riddle. If you decide to do the riddle, I gave it to you. And then you'll see at the bottom, see how we have this equation here, y equals 4x. In our final answer for the riddle, we would put the letter R for the last one because our equation for number 1 was y equals 4x, and the letter that corresponds with that is R. So all the equations that you guys should be coming up with are at the top. You can kind of use this as a guide to eliminate what's left if you're having trouble. And then the last thing you want to do is write the riddle here. So again, whatever equation you get, that letter will match the blanks, and then that's how you answer the riddle. So like right now, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's our riddle. It's a blank and then a space and then 7 more. And we are filling in the last letter as R because we know that number 1, this is our equation, and the letter that goes with number 1 is R. Okay, so like I said, you have 3 options today. I want you to pick 2 of the 3. This is a review of kind of what we've been going over and a little bit of some prior knowledge. So pick the 2 that you prefer to do. You'll be excused from the 3rd. And remember that you do have your evidence of mastery tomorrow on proportional relationships. I'll be posting some videos and some expectations of what you will see on that tomorrow. I'll be posting that this morning so that you can prepare for that. And then Wednesday, you will also get your review sheet for your assessment, which is on Thursday. Okay, I hope all of that was clear. If you have any questions, you know I'm always available to help you with anything that you may need. I hope you're all staying safe, and I'll talk to you soon.